I just need to first say a couple of words before I introduce my guest, who I'm very excited to talk to. But ABANTU Voices, essentially, is a platform, and I like to call it a movement where we're amplifying and highlighting Africans that are living in Hong Kong. We are highlighting their experiences, we're highlighting their work, we're highlighting their talents, their passions. This is wide-ranging, from the boardroom to the newsroom, to the stage, to the runway. So we are trying to build and maybe use the sort of arsenal at our disposal to break the narrative, to break the stereotypes that are often associated with Africans, especially when we are in the minority, which is the case here in Hong Kong. But it's not that it's not without a fight. It's always going to be an ongoing journey, and I feel like this is one way that we can change the stereotype, gate back the narrative, and also rewrite it as well. So it's about highlighting the important work that we're doing, highlighting the passions that we're following. And tonight, our theme is rhythms and connections. There are two guests that we'll be speaking to tonight, the epitome of rhythms, and their rhythms have connected Asia and Africa. We have MsLolo, looking so gorgeous in her yellow dress. And MsLolo, I guess, to a lot of people in this room, needs no introduction, but I think it's important that we do introduce the fact that she comes from my home country, South Africa, but she has taken what she has learned in South Africa, brought it all the way to Hong Kong, and has amplified it, essentially. I call her the undisputed queen of showbiz, but she's more than that. And she will be sitting here with me and telling us more about who MsLolo is. And then after MsLolo, we will have an interval. And after that, we will have Marka Diop. He is stuck out in the rain, unfortunately. It's bucketing up there, as you could see. But he is on his way. I call him the djembe pioneer of Hong Kong, because equipped with a djembe on his back and a head full of dreams, he came to Hong Kong 25 years ago, and he's been instrumental, excuse the pun.
You just arrived.
Oh, wonderful. He's been instrumental in terms of teaching music and culture of Africa to Asians and the broader Hong Kong community and society. So rhythms and connections is a deliberate theme that I think that we're all just going to enjoy getting to know our guests better. So please, can you help me welcome on stage MsLolo. Yay! Welcome, welcome, welcome. I think MsLolo has been one of those people that I've always just knew that I had to sit down with her. I knew about you, by the way, even before I moved to Hong Kong. So I like to do a lot of reading about certain conversations and certain topics. And one of the things that I wanted to know about was, what's the culture like in Hong Kong? Who's doing what? Who's shaking? Who's moving? And the only people that came up, lots of videos of you coming up, and you've just always been very bubbly and very generous with your journey of you being MsLolo. But I just wanted to take it back a little bit and peel the layers off around who are you and where do you actually see yourself going, because I can imagine it's not the end of the road, right? MsLolo, Mayville, Kwa-Zulu Natal, that's where you're from. Paint us a picture of young MsLolo. How did you grow up?
Hi everyone.
Hi, MsLolo.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hi everyone, and Lorenzo, thank you for having me. I'm usually invited to interviews where I have to think and prepare and all of that, but after I had a sit down with you, I knew that I just had to come and show up and we can have a conversation. So guys, thank you for coming out and being interested in what we're about to say. So MsLolo or Lindiwe. So because MsLolo came after Lindiwe. So Lindiwe Ngobeni, Lindiwe means the the protected one. So I come from a very religious family, very big family, 5 sisters, 2 brothers. Growing up, my dad being the pastor and, you know, being in church every Sunday, that's what my life is. But after coming to Hong Kong, I'm more than just Lindiwe. Now I'm MsLolo, I'm a mother and a wife.
Mm-hmm. And love was a doing word for you, MsLolo, when you were growing up. I remember you sharing how you used to see actively your parents loving each other. And what sort of impact do you think that had in your life as Lindiwe and as MsLolo now in your big age?
My mom and my dad raised the bar very high. I remember, I don't know if anybody here knows, in South Africa, we have those houses that have bathrooms. Actually, it's not a bathroom, it's a toilet. Because we didn't have bathrooms. We used to use those things that look like a what is it? A bucket. But it's those short ones. So that's where we used to bathe, right?
It's like a long drop.
Yes. So we had a long drop toilet. So every time when my dad and my mom were home at the same time, when my mom is going to the bathroom or toilet, when my dad is going to the toilet, my mom and my dad, they're following each other. And they had these staircases, right? So my dad or my mom, one of them would be sitting outside while the other one is doing their business inside. The other one is outside and they're having a full-blown conversation. The other one is like da-da-da-da inside and doing what she's doing, and the other one is responding from the outside. And I'm just outside as a child, barefoot and just running around, not knowing, you know, life struggles and all of that. All I knew was these people are kind of weird. I don't know how to put this, but I just grew up around love. I never seen my mom or my dad fights. I never see my mom yell at my dad or my dad yell at my mom, or one or the other raise their voices at each other. So when I grew up, I always thought that love was just so beautiful. Love was, because I thought going to the toilet was a little disgusting, right? Yeah. But the other one can sit outside and listen to the other one. So for me, when I looked at my mom and my dad, I was like, this is what love is. So for me, they set an example of what love is. I kind of think that I'm messed up after that.
Yeah, and when you mentioned that the bar was set quite high, and it's a good thing though, because then I think it gives you time to value yourself and the contribution that you make in a relationship, and whatever kind of love, you know, a love from a friend, a love from a parent, a love from a lover. But things then took a turn for, I would say, the worst when you lost your mom. Take us through that moment.
So this is when I was just turning 15 years old, and my mom used to travel. She used to go to different African countries and sell clothes, and she was a businesswoman. So when she came back, at some point, she came back and she was a little frail. And she was sick, and she never left, right? And she stayed in bed, and she was sick for, I think, about 2-3 years before she passed away. So I think for me, what was confusing was how I was going to navigate life when my mom was not there, right? And the worst thing that happened is, now I've healed. It doesn't hurt me anymore, but it's part of who I am, right? But the worst thing is, my mom passes away. She's buried in June. A week later, my dad disappears. He just left. He didn't say anything to anyone. He just left. So there's 5 girls and 2 boys. The oldest is 21. So, mind you, my dad worked for a company that I'm sure everybody knows. He worked for Unilever. So we were cheesy. We were coconuts before people know what coconut is, right? We grew up eating cheese. We didn't have to buy.
And that's a big deal in South Africa, you know. Like waking up and eating cheese in your sandwich was a very, very big deal.
Exactly. So we grew up being very soft, and then like just in my teenage years, and then things took a turn. And then now, we find ourselves looking at each other, my brother, my sister who were older. 21, you can't say somebody's old when they're 21, right? You can't expect them to take care of the youngest, which was 6 years old. My youngest brother was 6. So you can't expect those people to be the parents and take over the roles of the parents. So that's what was difficult for me to navigate.
But your superpower, as you've said, is to adapt. You had to adapt. You had to go and provide for your family. But all the while, Miss Lolo, singing has always been in you. You always knew that this is something that I want to do. It's an active part of me. But yet you had to come to reality, which is what's more important? Is it putting food on the table, or is it me chasing my career in singing?
I think it was both, because I knew that I was not going to have money to go to expensive universities. I was kind of like naive at some point. I went around when I finished my matric, graduated high school, for those that don't know what matric is. When I finished my high school, I kind of went around to different universities thinking that I can just enroll. But I think I was naive because I knew that I'm not going to have the money to do it. But I wanted to be something. I wanted to graduate. I wanted to see myself wearing, those things and
Graduation
what
gown.
do you call them? The
Graduation gown.
And then what is the hat called? Anybody knows the hat? The ones that, what is it? Yeah, the cap. Oh, they don't have a special name.
No.
Oh yeah. So
I don't know.
yeah, and I've always wanted to do that. So when I was going around, at that time, it was around the time where our South African government was saying we are willing to pay for anyone that cannot support or provide for themselves. So but the thing is, I didn't have enough information, what forms I need to submit, and all of those things. So I just went and I was like, I want to register, and I wanted to register at Durban University of Technology. They were offering speech and drama, acting and music, because that's what I've always wanted to do, right? And just to go back a little bit. So when my mom passed away, we were already a part of a gospel choir, my sister and I. So it's kind of weird, like how everything was happening, because when that happened, it was just like a year prior my mom passing away. One of the school teachers where I used to go to school, he was like, I want to mentor you guys. I want to take you guys under my wing, and I want to take you guys. And he was already had influence, like he already had like popular singers. He knew Rebecca Maloba, Lundi, and all of these popular singers.
And these are very popular singers back home, right? Gospel singers.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
So my foundation was always gospel from church, right? So he took us under his wing, and every Saturday and Sunday we'd be singing at a party, a wedding, a funeral, and we would come back with 50 rands. And 50 rands is what, 25 Hong Kong dollars?
Even less.
About 23.
I think it's like 15 Hong Kong dollars.
Oh, it can't be that low.
Yes,
Is it 20?
Yeah, 20.
So it's about 28. But at that time, you could get a bag of rice. Because my sister and I were together, right? So she has a 50 rands, I have my 50 rands. When we put it together, we get a bag of rice, we get a bag of what we used to call a braai pack.
Yes.
What is braai pack?
Wings, chicken.
So it's like pieces and pieces of chicken, they put them in a bag, and so we would be able to do that and get some tomatoes and that, and I actually got my first watch.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you about what you did with your first salary, right?
Okay.
So I didn't know it was the 50 rand that was your first salary, but you obviously painting a picture for us around how you had to adapt or die, actually. So you had to put your dreams, your aspirations on the back burner a bit. And in fact, you auditioned for Lion King and you got rejected. Tell us about that first disappointment. It wasn't the first one, I'm sure, but that was one major disappointment where you got rejected and then yet you went back again.
Yeah, so the first time I got I went to the auditions. One of my school teachers in my high school, because she used to hear me every morning when we are having our school assemblies. Before, I don't know if anybody knows, in South Africa, before every school day starts, we have what we call assemblies, where we do announcements and we pray and we start our day. Before we start our day, we pray and sing. So every day, I'm the one that is singing the hymn. So all the teachers got to know me, right? It's not only that also because I wasn't paying school fees, right? So they used to kick out all the kids that were not paying school fees. But because I was singing every morning and my spirits was high all the time, they didn't kick me out, right? So one of the teachers calls me one day, she's like, we have this Lion King auditions happening in Playhouse. I was like, Lion King? She's like, I'm like, is it not cartoons? She's like, yeah, there's cartoons, but now they have stage productions, musicals that are in different parts of the world. She said Australia, at that time Australia was still happening. She said Australia, Hamburg in Germany. She named a few. She said America, New York. I was like, all right, you have my attention. All right, tell me. And funny enough, it was a school day because they used to come and audition during weekdays. It was a school day, and she was like, I'll let you skip the school day. Just go, because I think you have something, right? So when I went home, I was excited. I'm like, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow, I'm gonna go and audition for Lion King. I'm gonna be one of the amazing singers, and mostly I'm going overseas. For me, I didn't care. It was going as long as it was overseas, because I knew that if I go, I don't know why, but I thought if I go overseas, my family's life is gonna change, right? I'm gonna bring you know what was happening. So the next morning, I was the first person to come there. I was there before 7 a.m. But when I got there, the queue, the line was all the way up to the MTR. I'm not even joking. And that's when I realized, oh my gosh, I'm not the only person that is hungry here. There's so many of us, right? And yeah, I did the audition. This is the fun part. So when you do the audition, right, they tell you if you can go and hit those notes. You have to, the guy he does this thing with his finger. And the very popular song that we used to sing, Moyo wam, olale, Jesu ka, moyo wam, olale, Jesu ka. And then he would do his finger like this. And then you have to go up, moyo wam, all the way. And I did it until he was done with his finger. And because when you do the audition, there's 5 of you, 5 girls. And all of other girls, they couldn't get to where I could get to, all the way high there. So then they were like, okay, thank you very much. And then the guy that was auditioning called the guy that was at the door. I don't know what he was saying. And then they gave me a CD. And then they gave me a green form. And then they were taking pictures of me, right? So me, I was like, ooh, I'm about to go.
Serious.
Exactly. Because everybody that is coming, nobody's taking pictures of them. They're not asking them if they have passports and all of the things that they were asking me. So in my mind, I got the job, right? So then months went by. I went home. And I got home, I was excited. I was like, I'm about to go overseas. I don't even know where, but I was like, I'm about to go overseas. And then when I got home, I stayed. Life continued for months and months and months and months and months and months, and nothing was happening.
And I can imagine that must have also been a little bit dilapidating for your spirit, because you knew that you were talented. You knew that you gave it your all. You knew that you hit the note, right? And nobody else could get there, but you didn't get the call. But fast forward, you do get a call. You get a call that perhaps changed your life and the direction of your life. Tell us about that call. Where were you? And you did something very peculiar when you got that call. Tell us more.
Okay, so at this time I've already auditioned and went back a number of times, probably like 4 times, 4 years, that long that I don't get the job, right? So then I decided that I need to do something with my life, right? And I started working for a company that used to make car parts. So I can tell you how to put together an airbag and the cables that can open the door and all of those things, because I actually started working in a firm. So this particular night, it was a night shift, which I hated. So we're done. I'm already getting home. It's a Friday, and I'm about to go and get some groceries. I'm at the grocery shop trying to find things that I need to provide, to do for the whole week, cook and all of that, my lunch boxes and all of that. And then my phone rings. And it's such a weird number I've never met. Everybody that knows South Africa +27. This one, it was a +852. I was like, oh, this is weird. Oh, this is, and I shared this with you the other time, right? So there was this myth that was going around that if you answer a phone call of a number that you didn't know, you're gonna die. So there was somebody that answered a phone call and they died. So I'm looking at this, should I answer this?
No, I don't think that actually happened. I don't think anyone would die considering a number they didn't know.
I know!
But it was one of those myths that were just living around.
Yeah, exactly. So that, that gave me a little bit of doubts if I should answer or not. But of course, eventually I answer, and then I pick up and I hear a voice that was so dominant. It's like, hi, my name is Russ Jordan. I'm calling from Hong Kong, Disneyland. Hong Kong, Disneyland. And it's like, well, congratulations. I just want to let you know that you've made it to, you've been hired, basically. You are coming to Hong Kong. I just want to give you a few details. And that time I freaked out. I was like, oh my gosh, and I hung up. I don't know why I hung up, exactly. I don't know why I hung up. I panicked. You see how I'm sweating? Because it's taking me back to that. I was sweating, I was panicking. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. It's really happening. So then he calls back again. Yeah. He's like, oh, I think there was a little bit of connection problems. But my HR is gonna get in contact with you, and I just need your email address. What is an email address? Oh my gosh! So I had to ask people what is an email address. Oh my goodness! First of all, I don't even know how much I'm gonna make, because when he was telling me, because he had to brief me, right? You come into Hong Kong, you're gonna make this much money, and this, but everything that happened after that, I couldn't hear it, because it's like I went to a different space. And then I went home, and of course I asked somebody, what is an email address? Please help me get an email address. Yeah. And then that person who's my neighbor set up an email address. And then he called the next, very patient gentleman, by the way. He called the next morning, and he was like, okay, my HR needs to get in contact with you. So can you please give us your email address?
Yeah, I mean, there was a life-changing call, MsLolo. I'm getting goosebumps just sitting here and listening to you, and how this has happened. How many years ago was that?
Oh my gosh, when is 2007?
So it's happened.
So this is 5 years after the first audition. This is first
5 years after your first audition.
5 years after my first audition.
But it's still so vivid for you. It's still so real. The emotions that you felt, and then you get to Hong Kong and you realize that this is, not Mayville. This is a different ball game altogether. But you have a job to do, because while you have signed a contract, you still have to prove yourself on stage. And another thing, a layer of it, is that you're not just coming into a role in The Lion King. You are stepping into one of the most prolific roles, which is Rafiki, the storyteller. This is the guy. I mean, what is that? Can you take us through that call? Maybe that will make you feel better. What is that call that you had to make when you get on the stage?
Oh, you mean the yeah,
exactly that, right? You had to embody that, and you had to, I guess, exert yourself at some point, because you knew that you were also competing with professionals, people that are hungry like you. What I found very amazing about your story is that you obviously, you practiced and you practiced and you practiced, and you took 3 weeks to learn your lines, which were in English, which was not a language that you were familiar or comfortable with. Tell us about the sweat and tears that went into you preparing and getting into the shoes of Rafiki.
Okay, so when you come to Disneyland, they make you watch as soon as you come, they put you on the auditorium and you see other performers. And it's probably somebody that you're replacing, right? Because they're leaving. So I got to see the person that I was replacing. And she would get on stage, do the and when she's done, because it goes and you have to introduce the show because you are the narrator. So you have to go, welcome to the Festival of the Lion King, Your Majesty. Your story is the lion cub named Simba became the noble king of Pride Rock. It is a story of courage and friendship. It is the legend of the Lion King, right? And me, in my English, my limited vocabulary, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do those lines and I have to do them in a way that people can actually understand what is the story of the land, because it's a very big story, right? We've all seen Lion King, it's big, especially our generation. So when I got there, I was like, I don't only have to learn the lines, but I also have to learn the proper pronunciations. I also have to learn how to present the story. I also have to learn how to command the audience to listen to me. So I realized that it's not only about the voice. I have the voice. I know I can sing, but there's way more to the character of Rafiki than that. So I remember the first time when I did the very first rhyme, because they make you rehearse, and then I had to do the first rhyme. And I remember saying, Your Majesty, in celebration of your arrival, we present the story of your life, the legend of our proud young lamb, Simba became the noble king of Sumatra. It is a story of courage. And the director was like, breathe. For me, it was just getting the lines across. It was getting through the lines, but it wasn't about telling the story, because I was so nervous that I was going to mess up the lines. So I spent a lot of nights not sleeping, maybe like 2-3 hours of sleep only, and I would go over and over and over and over and again. Because trust you me, they can send you back. It's not that just because you are here, they've given you a contract. There is a clause that says, if you come here and you can't deliver, we're sending you back, boo-boo. So I knew that at the back of my mind, because that had happened before, before I arrived. So I knew that I had to put in hours and hours. And I was like, I'm gonna be humble. I'm gonna ask each and every storyteller, each and every Rafiki here, how can I do this? How can I do this? And we were lucky because they put us in a hotel. So I was able to call each and every one of them, please help me. I need to know how to do these lines. I need to know how to deliver this, to deliver, especially this part, because I didn't know anything much about, because it's not only singing, it's acting also. So I needed to know how to deliver the lines for people to understand what is the emotion of that line.
Right, and who was the person that was holding your hand through this process? Obviously, home is over 10,000 kilometers away. You are here at this place. You are trying to get this role perfected. But there must have been someone that was like, you know what? Okay, fine. Come on in my way. Let me help you. Come here, kiddo. Who was that?
Are you sure we want to do that? I had somebody that cared for me at that time, and they were willing to, go out and get information for me. I don't know if I want to talk about that right now. Yeah. there was somebody that I really, really deeply cared for, and as a person that, when I said I don't know what is an email, he created that email for me. When I didn't know how to sign a contract and what is a contract, he did that for me. But yeah.
No, I was talking about when you're in Hong Kong, The Lion King. Were there any mentors for you? Was there anyone who was your mentor that you could rely on? You could call at 2 a.m. and say, how do I say this word? How do I say this line? Was there someone like that for you in Disneyland who was able to just guide you through those hurdles that you're experiencing?
The other storytellers. The other storytellers that have been there. Particularly, there's one that was from Durban. Her name was Nombuso. So I would call her even if it's 3 a.m. in the morning. I would be like, Nombuso, I don't know how to do this. Can you help me do this? Can you help me with this? So it's not other people, but it's one of us. It's another South African sister who also came from Durban, who understood what I was going through at that time.
Yeah, and I'm also just trying to paint the picture of the importance of having, you know, mentors, people that are around you who can guide you, who can get you to the higher level of yourself and also of your potential. You do it for 8 years. You, Rafiki, out for 8 years. You do this, you do it so well. Obviously, because you just mentioned that, you know, if you didn't perform, you were out. It was a constant thing, right? You probably saw people, there was a revolving door, I'm sure, for 8 years, people just coming and going, people coming and going, but yet you stayed. And then you made a decision to, you know what, okay, I'm Rafiki'd out. Let me do something else. And you wanted to start again, you went back home for a bit, and then you came back and you realized, oops, it's all gone. I have to rebuild. Take us through the process, your rebuilding process, your becoming again, your big comeback. Take us through how that panned out for you.
I think the craziest thing is that even before the rebuild, when I felt like I was already up there, I had one of those things, I don't know, what do you call them? Stockholm syndrome.
Right.
I had one of those where I felt like, oh my gosh, I am all the way up there. I'm uncomfortable being up there because I've never imagined myself being up there. Now, what do I do with all of that, right? So constantly, I would have fears of losing it. So at the back of my mind, even though I wasn't deliberately doing it, at the back of my mind, I was like, I don't feel comfortable here because I'm so used to struggling and pushing and you know, and working fighting. So exactly, I'm so used to fighting. Now I'm so comfortable, then what do I do with my life? Do I just sit and, what am I gonna do, right? Now I'm up there with all these cool, rich people. I'm taking holidays. I'm doing all the things that I had never imagined in my life that I would do. But then I'm thinking, oh my gosh, then what do I do? You know, when you've been fighting, now there's nothing else to do. And I was like, I need to figure out who I am when I'm happy, when I'm not struggling. So for me, the rebuilding was for me to understand, after all the success, who I am. Who am I if there's no success? How do I rebuild? How do I know that this was not just, it didn't just happen because I was lucky. It happened because I put in the work. So I wanted to put in the work again to see if I can do it again. And that's what I've been doing.
And this is when MsLolo,
that's when MsLolo is born.
The phoenix rises from the ash, right? MsLolo's born, and she's a powerhouse. And I say this because you are a composer, you are a singer, as we know, you're a performer. You also dabbled in some acting. You're a mom. You are a friend to some people that are in this room and outside. And also just you adapting to a very different country, which I think now is basically a home. How were you able to navigate all those hats? And which one is your favorite one?
I love being a mom. My son brings so much joy. My son doesn't know who MsLolo's is. My son knows mommy. As soon as I put on the big gown, he just comes and hides under the gown and he's like, peekaboo, peekaboo, like he's just enjoying. He has no idea what is happening. He just loves me, and I can't explain that feeling of being a mom, and I just appreciate it so much. And also being integrated into the Chinese society, because if you don't know, my husband is local Chinese guy, so I get to experience the Chinese people as a family, not as people that you are with on the bus or on the train. I get to experience them, and I can only say I have never made feel anything but love. I don't know if it's because I'm a star.
Maybe. but I think that's the beautiful, your attribute actually, I've said this to you numerous times, how your music transcends through borders, through language, you know. You are literally a powerhouse when it comes to entertainment, because I've seen you perform and I've seen Chinese people go crazy, and I'm looking at this person like, can you actually understand what you're saying? But they love you, and at the same time, I see how people from your continent, you know, receive you. You're well received, and it's because your music really just cuts through all the layers. Sometimes, I'm not sure about you, but some of my favorite songs, I have no idea what the language is or what they say, but I love that song. So you've got that, I guess, power, superpower, you know, you adapt, yes, but you also have a superpower of, you know, your music, your vocals, your voice just cuts through all the noise, and people listen and they take notice. I want to go back to your rebuilding. You've gone through a lot, we've heard it. You even have now, you know, composed a full album that basically like is stripping you bare in terms of what you've gone through. You've put it in song, and you also have a musical that's coming up in terms of just telling your life story. When do you get some sleep, girl? Like, you're busy. Tell us about that. I mean, that must have been something so rewarding, especially after losing it all and now just trying to come back.
So I'll do the part one of the question first. I don't think that, I think everybody knows, music is not about understanding what the person is singing, it's about the emotion and the feeling. For me, music is my life. It's for me, when I leave home, I have one prayer that I say every single time. I don't know if it makes sense to you, but when I leave home, I say, God, when I step on stage, I want to be that white cloud. I want people to feel good inside, even if I'm singing a pop song and I'm dancing, but I want to be that white cloud that makes people feel good, that heals them. So that's my prayer. So even if I'm singing a pop song or a reggae song or any of that, I will treat it the same way as I'm singing any other genre. For me, it's pouring my soul. When I pour my soul on stage, I just hope that my soul can heal a person that is, even if it's just one person, if one person can feel what I'm feeling. And the crazy thing is that I've been to venues where, because I sense energies, I've been to venues when I know that there's nobody that is listening and there's nobody that is paying attention. But you would never see me sad. When I know that there's nobody listening and paying attention, I sing for myself. Even if I had a playlist that is set, then I change it. I sing songs that I sing for me and God. That's it. And there's nothing that is gonna make me feel sad about the fact that there's nobody that is listening.
Do they look up maybe? Do they look up and do they change their minds and be like, oh, okay, she's not bad. Do they do that?
Most of the time, if they don't look up, they're probably gonna give me the red envelope.
Okay.
So when I get that red envelope, I'm like, all right, it's a song. There was somebody that heard what I was singing.
Your musical is coming up. I want to, this is my last question before I want to open up to the floor. Your musical that's coming up, this is a big deal, MsLolo. How do you feel about that? And what do you want to come out very strongly in that musical?
So if you guys don't know, I'm doing a musical. It's called MsLolo Behind the Spotlight. It's gonna be at West Kowloon Theatre. Basically, MsLolo Behind the Spotlight, it takes you on a journey of how I became MsLolo, the ups and downs, the struggles, the good, the bad, and everything. It's actually a government-funded project. If I can make it through to the top 2 or 3, then the musical is gonna tour in Singapore, China, and the neighboring countries. So I would really love to see you guys, come and show me some love.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
It is.
That's amazing.
You know what is the craziest thing also? Is that I've always imagined a MsLolo musical, but I didn't know that it was gonna come from somebody that only saw me performing. Because the person that sends me an email, it was such a random email. MsLolo, we've seen you there and there and there and there and there. We just want to know your story. We have these projects that is funded by the Hong Kong Arts and Culture, and we want to bring you in to understand who you are, and please share with the Hong Kong audience, because they've only seen you performing, but they don't really know who you are.
You know why they chose you? Because our stories matter. Our stories shape us. Our stories show the world who we are, and we get a better understanding of ourselves and of the world around us. This is the very reason why we're doing this here at ABANTU Voices. Yes, you're a fantastic performer, but your story is even more fantastic. Am I the only one who's feeling this? I mean, we listen to you and we're in awe of you. We appreciate that you've been able to just open yourself up and be vulnerable. And just take us through, Lindiwe to MsLolo, and to the mom that you are. I'm sure you're a fantastic mom, and your little boy is so lucky to have you.